Welcome to tutorial 3, the bone tool. In this tutorial you will use this tool that was first introduced in Flash in this particular edition, CS4, and it's not without its problems, but we're going to try to use it for some simple activities in which you will create motion using the bone tool. So as usual, when you open up Adobe CS4 Flash, you'll be asked which version you want to use, and we're going to try the ActionScript 3 as we have done in tutorials 1 and 2. Click OK. Now, as before, make the work area as large as possible. Mine happens to be 100% at the moment. I'm going to change it to type in 180 because it works on my screen. You may have to pick something smaller for your screen. Oops. Okay. As well, you don't actually need it, but it's useful to have it in for reference, and that is put the grid lines in. So go to View, Grid, Show Grid. All right. Turn on your brush tool and go over there and change the color of it, I think to black in this first instance. And we're going to draw an arm, so it doesn't have to look exactly like mine, but it's meant to show the upper and lower part of an arm. So there's the going to exaggerate the elbow, and keep the hand simple. We're going to use 3 fingers. If we look at most cartoon characters, they're limited to 3 fingers. Now we'll show a bit of a muscle here in the forearm, and a gigantic muscle, Popeye style, here in the upper arm. There we go. Now make sure it's complete. We'll find out whether that is a complete line. That is, you have to go back to where you started by filling it in. If you can't fill it in, it means that you didn't get back to where you started, and just redraw that arm again. We're not looking at beauty here, we're looking at functionality. Alright, turn on your paint bucket, and you can fill it with the color. Don't pick black, pick some other color though, some lighter color. It could be gray if you want, or yellow, or whatever. I'm going to pick a pale pink, so pick a pale color. Don't pick a dark color because you want to be able to see your work. Alright, there's the arm of the individual. And at the moment all we have done is fill frame 1 of the layer called layer 1. There's no need to rename it because we're going to turn on the bone tool and it's going to create its own layer. So it looks just like a bone. And when you click on the little drop bar under it, it opens up 2 choices, the bone tool or the bind tool. By the way, notice they always give a letter there, X or Z or some other letter for tools. That means you can use the control board, Control X or Control Z, and we want the bone tool, so just turn that on. And right away you see the bone appears where the pointer is, and there's a little plus sign. Start in the top of the arm. That's the point from which the whole arm is going to rotate. It might take your computer a little while. It's certainly taking mine a while. I'm going to hit escape. I can't get it to run. Turn on some other tool. Go back to the bone tool again. Try it again. There we go. So it's taken me 2 tries and several, probably a minute or 2 to get it to suddenly work. And there's the bone tool. Notice in this case it's giving, you can't control the color, it'll pick a particular color. Now, while you're down there at that end, go right to the center of that little circle for the next part of the bone tool and go to the end of the arm. These are rotation points. Click again. Once it starts working, usually it continues working. And notice, by the way, down where the layers are indicated, you've got a new layer now, and it's called the armature layer. That's where all this is being done, in the armature layer. Don't bother renaming it. Now, let's give each finger the ability to move, and do it to the sort of the center of the end of the finger. And your computer may lag, as mine is doing. There we go. We've got points about which the arm can rotate. I don't want to move it yet. I want to do something else before then. Go in to the armature layer, to frame 20. Click on frame 20 and right click and go insert pose. Up. Notice something's happened. The outline of the arm has disappeared. I'm going to go Control Z until I get rid of that or undo that step. I want to go right back to the beginning. And it's refusing to do that. It's having some sort of there we are, back to where we were. Okay. Click outside, hit escape, or turn on another tool. All right. I'm going to go to cell 80, frame 80, and right click, insert frame. So what has it done? Oh, once again, it did not copy the outline. It's copied only the inside of the arm from frame 1 onwards. All right, we'll live with that. Go to frame 20, right click and go insert pose. Repeat that at cell 40. Do the same thing. Right click on cell 40, right click, insert pose. Go to cell 60, insert pose, and last but not least, the last cell, insert pose. Okay, so I've inserted these things at 4 points, frame or cell number 20, 40, 60, and 80. So roughly every 20. The exact cells don't matter. Go back to cell 20. Right, go up to the top and choose your selection tool and just try putting it over the center of the elbow there where the rotation point is, where that circle is, and it allows you to move the arm just from that point. So I'm going to move the arm back. I don't want it off the screen. I'm going to move the arm up here, and then I'm going to the next rotation point at the wrist. Pull it up, but I want to pull it down. By the way, notice something is happening over here. Where the two arms overlap, in this particular edition of the bone tool, it seems to eliminate that area. There's no coloring whatsoever, so you want to avoid that. So I'm going to put it down, and notice what's happening. That missing area is disappearing. The way it works is it's using a mathematical tool called vectors, which you may have met in mathematics, and it works out where it thinks the arm should be, and of course it doesn't always match up with what you want. Watch what happens here. For instance, if I put a finger over the arm, I'm missing a lot of the finger, so I'm not going to do that. Put that finger back. Notice there's a lag. I'm going to move this finger up a little bit, not actually overlapping, and this finger down a little bit. Nope, it's overlapping there. There we go. Okay, go to frame. Now I'd like to be able to see what we did in previous layer. Go to the bottom here and you'll see something called the onion skin. The name onion skin should pop up. And then you see this. It'll allow you to see what you've done in the previous layers. You can move it along and it allows you to look at what's there. I'm going now to cell 40. Click on cell or frame 40. And once again with your move tool, let's change the position of the arm. I'm going to put it way back here. I can no longer see where the hand is, so I'm going to pull down my screen and move it way up. fingers as you like. I'm going to move that digit back. It's painful, but I'm going to do it anyway. Move this one back. Notice you can see a bunch of fingers underneath. That's because you're seeing the underlying layers. Move this one up and this one up. Be patient with your computer. The speed at which things change depends upon the graphics card, and this is a fairly demanding program. Go to frame 60 now. It's back to the original position. And this time I'm going to straighten the arm out. I'm going to grab it there, straighten it out. It's resisting. There we go. And the final frame, frame 60, I'm going to pull the arm right back. Notice I'm not bothering to move this. Everything is rotating about there, so it's as though the person is standing still while moving the arm. That's the way to look at it. I'm going to go right up this time. We haven't been up there. So that would be off your screen, but nevertheless it's okay. And bend the arm. I'm going to leave the fingers where they are. So you are seeing underneath all those layers. Now you can change how many layers you're seeing. If I drag this little ball down to the bottom, drag the little ball in the gray part, I can see a lot more layers. So it's now showing the motion from frame roughly 57 onwards. It's saying, well, that's where it was, and it's moved to that upper position. So you're seeing all the previous layers exposed using this onion skin, i.e. onion skin is a transparency. All right, let's see what we've created. Go Control, Test Movie. So there you've used the bone tool to create animation in your object. Now we could put a background in there to make it show up better. Notice if you go to frame 1 of the layer 1, which is where you started out, I'm going to turn off the other layer. In frame 1 there's no longer anything. All the material has been transferred to the armature layer. So why not in frame 1 simply give it a colored background to make it stand out? Oh, well, there seems to be my outline. For some reason it did not transfer over to the armature layer. All that transferred over was the inner part of the arm. Interesting. Well, we'll have to try to straighten that out. I'm going to leave that for today, and we're going to save that as, whoops, lost my arm, save that as tutorial 3 arm 1. So go File, Save As, arm 1. And notice all of they're being saved as .flas. What sort of choices do you get? Well, I guess that's the only choice you do get. Well, it does allow you to save it as an earlier version, a CS3 version, which you don't want. And just go Save. And that's the end of tutorial 3, introduction to the bone tool with some problems. Thank you.